I had just filled my gas tank and wiped down the interior when the next ride request came in. A guy named Brian. Profile photo looked harmless. Clean-shaven, business casual type, 5-star rating. Pickup was outside a strip mall on the edge of town. The kind of place with closed-down vape shops, flickering neon signs, and one 24-hour diner that somehow smelled like both bleach and old grease. I pulled into the lot and spotted him right away. He was standing under the buzzing yellow glow of the diner sign, hands in the pockets of a navy blue jacket. He waved when he saw my car, then climbed into the back seat, giving a quick nod. "You Brian?" I asked, thumb hovering over the confirm button. "Yep," he said. "Downtown, near 4th and Maple." "Got it." The ride started off like any other, just another late-night fare. He didn't seem chatty, which suited me fine. I threw on some soft jazz and focused on the road. 15 minutes in, I noticed headlights in the rearview mirror. A black SUV. Big, tinted windows. Riding a little too close, I tapped my brakes lightly. Nothing. The SUV didn't back off. Another tap. It stayed glued to my bumper. I looked again. "You know if someone's following you?" I asked, trying to keep it light. Brian leaned forward slightly. "What? No, I don't think so." "You sure?" I said, glancing between the mirror and the road. "That SUV's been tailing us since we left the mall." He shifted in his seat. "Maybe just some jerk who doesn't know how to drive." "Maybe." Then the SUV swerved briefly into the left lane, still keeping pace. A passenger side window rolled down. "What the hell?" I muttered. And then I saw the gun. A muzzle, black and unmistakable, poking out from the window. "Get down!" I shouted, slamming the gas. Brian ducked. A shot rang out, sharp and quick. I felt the back of the car jolt, then a rhythmic thumping as one of the tires shredded beneath us. I yanked the wheel, trying to stay in control as the car skidded onto the shoulder. Another shot. More sparks. Another tire blown. We were riding on rubber and rims. "Who the hell is that?" I screamed. "I don't know," Brian yelled, though his voice cracked just a little too much. The SUV swerved up again, cutting me off. I couldn't stop. We were going too fast. The front of my car clipped their rear bumper, and we spun, metal screeching, tires shrieking. The world went sideways. Then silence. I blinked. We'd crashed into a ditch. The airbags had deployed. Steam hissed from the hood. I checked myself. No broken bones, no blood, just shaken. Brian groaned and kicked his door open. "Stay down," I warned, trying to push open mine. Too late. The SUV stopped, doors flying open. Men in black tactical gear swarmed us, shouting commands, weapons drawn. "Hands where I can see them." Driver, out of the vehicle. Passenger on the ground, face down. "What the hell is happening?" I shouted, hands raised. I was yanked from the car and thrown to the ground. My cheek hit cold gravel. My wrists were cuffed behind my back before I could process what was happening. They were shouting over each other. One of them kept saying, "We got him! We got him!" Another yelled into a radio, "Suspect in custody." The driver, too. "The driver?" I protested. "I'm just an Uber driver." "You picked him up," someone growled above me. "That makes you the getaway." I was too stunned to speak. They pulled Brian up next. His calm demeanor was gone. His face was drained, lips trembling. The moment they lifted his shirt and pulled out a hidden pistol, I knew I was screwed. They pushed us into separate vehicles. An hour later, I sat in a concrete holding cell, arms wrapped around myself, replaying everything in my head. The shots, the crash, the shouting, Brian's cold calm. It didn't make sense. Eventually, 2 detectives came in. One threw a folder on the table in front of me. Inside were photos. Bodies. 4 of them. All found in separate states. Each of them an Uber driver. Each of them with bullet holes in the back of the head. "You picked up Brian Lofgren," one of the detectives said. "He's been on the run for 3 months. Poses as a passenger, waits for the right driver, then takes them somewhere quiet and kills them. Sometimes he takes their car. Sometimes he just vanishes." I felt sick. "I didn't know," I said, voice hoarse. "I had no idea." They studied me for a long time. One of them finally said, "We believe you. But we had to be sure. He slipped away before. This time we couldn't take chances." Later that night, they let me go. One of the cops gave me a ride home in a squad car. I didn't say much, just stared out the window. When I got inside, I went straight to the bathroom and vomited. I couldn't stop shaking. A few days later, I saw the news. Brian had been moved to a federal facility out of state. He wasn't talking. The media labeled him the passenger. The footage of our chase, blurry and chaotic, made the rounds on every platform. They never showed my face, but I knew that wasn't the end of it. I haven't driven since. Deleted the app. Sold the car for scrap. I still get twitchy every time I see a black SUV behind me. And sometimes, in the middle of the night, I think about the moment before I picked him up, how he looked just like anyone else, how easy it had been to let him into my car, into my life, how close I came to ending up like the others. It was a slow Wednesday night when I decided to pick up a few extra hours driving. The money wasn't great lately, and I was behind on rent, so every little bit helped. Around 11:45 p.m., I got a ping for a ride in a neighborhood just a few blocks from mine. No big deal. The passenger's name was Casey. 5-star rating. Normal photo. It looked like any other request, and I didn't think twice about accepting it. The pin dropped in front of a modest house on a tree-lined street. The porch light was on, and a figure stood near the curb, scrolling on their phone. I slowed and tapped the horn once. They looked up, young woman, maybe late 20s. She was dressed in a dark coat, her face neutral but pleasant. She opened the back door and slid in. "Casey?" I asked. "Yeah," she said. Her voice was soft. "Thanks for coming." "No problem. You heading downtown?" She nodded and looked out the window. I confirmed the route on the app, merged back into the road, and started driving. For the first few minutes, it was quiet. Casey didn't seem interested in conversation, and I was fine with that. The roads were mostly empty, and the rain had started again. Light, steady drops against the windshield. But something was off. It wasn't anything big, just a feeling. The hairs on my arms started to rise, and I kept glancing in the rearview mirror. Casey was sitting unusually straight, her hands folded in her lap. She didn't fidget, didn't check her phone, didn't move at all. "You okay back there?" I asked finally, breaking the silence. She didn't answer right away. Then, "Do you drive often at night?" "Yeah, most nights." "Do you ever worry about who you're picking up?" I forced a laugh. "Sometimes, but the app's pretty safe. Ratings help filter out the weirdos." She didn't laugh. You never know who someone really is. Sometimes the mask is better than the face. I didn't know what to say to that, so I just nodded and focused on the road. We were about 10 minutes from her destination when the app suddenly glitched. The GPS flickered, froze, then rerouted. Now it was sending us down a narrow street I didn't recognize. "Hey, did your destination change?" I asked. Casey leaned forward slightly. "No, keep going. It's just a shortcut." I hesitated, then shrugged. The road wasn't familiar, but maybe she knew a faster way. Locals sometimes had better routes than the app. The street narrowed into a stretch of cracked asphalt lined with trees. No streetlights, just darkness pressing in from both sides. I started to feel uneasy. My fingers tightened around the wheel. "Casey, are you sure this is..." Something hit the back of my head. Hard. My vision exploded into stars and the wheel jerked in my hands. The car swerved, tires screeching. I tried to hit the brakes, but everything went black before I could feel the car stop. When I came to, everything was quiet. Dark. The first thing I noticed was that I was no longer in the car. I was home, my apartment, on the couch. The TV was on, but muted. A blue screensaver bounced slowly from corner to corner. My heart slammed against my ribs as I sat up. How did I get here? I looked down, still wearing the same jacket, same jeans. My shoes were muddy. My head throbbed where I'd been hit. I reached up and felt a tender lump just above my ear. No blood, but it hurt like hell. I staggered to my feet and checked the door. Locked. All the windows were closed. My phone was on the coffee table, screen up, notifications buzzing, a missed call, a text from the app, "Trip completed, thank you." I opened the app. There was no trip history for Casey, no record of a ride at all. Just a gap, nothing between 11:45 and now. It was 3:13 a.m. I tried calling support, no answer. I tried to message the number linked to the ride. User no longer exists. That's when I noticed something else. A note. Folded, neat, sitting on the kitchen counter. I hadn't seen it when I first walked in. I didn't remember putting it there. My name was written on the outside in small, tidy handwriting. I unfolded it with shaking hands. "You were kind," it read. "You didn't deserve to die." I dropped the note. My breathing became ragged. I looked around again, suddenly feeling watched, like someone was behind me. But there was no one. Just my empty apartment. I grabbed my keys and ran downstairs to the parking lot. My car was there, clean, no dents, no signs of struggle. But when I opened the door, the seat was pushed all the way back, the way someone taller would have adjusted it. I stepped back and noticed something else. A smell. Faint, sweet, like perfume. My phone buzzed again. Another notification from the Uber app. Your rider Casey has left a review. But when I opened it, there was nothing. No review. No rider. Nothing. I didn't sleep that night. I just sat in the corner of my room with a kitchen knife and the lights on, waiting for the sun to rise. The next day, I filed a police report. They ran the name. No Casey matching that profile. No ride requests from that area on the app at the time I picked her up. But when I checked my dashcam footage just to prove I hadn't imagined any of it, it was blank. All of it. From 11:30 to 3 a.m., just black. As if the camera had been unplugged or erased. But I know what happened. I remember her. Her voice. The way she sat still like something waiting to be triggered. That hit to the head. The dark road. The silence. And that note. I threw it out the next day, but I still remember every word. You didn't deserve to die. That means someone did. I stopped driving that week, canceled the account, sold the car a month later. I walk everywhere now. Sometimes late at night, I see an Uber drive past me, and for a second, I think I see her in the back seat. Just a shape, still, silent, watching. Then she's gone. Maybe she's still out there, getting in cars, saying the right things, wearing someone else's face, waiting for someone who does deserve it. And maybe, next time, she won't change her mind. It started like any other night behind the wheel. Quiet, routine, nothing special. My name's Kevin, and I've been driving for Uber part-time for a little over a year. I know the city like the back of my hand, which is why I knew immediately something was off the moment I accepted that last ride. The pickup location was in an area of town that didn't get much traffic, an old industrial district with crumbling warehouses and rusting fences. The streets there don't have names on the signs anymore, and the streetlights flicker like they're debating giving up altogether. The rider's name was Mark. No photo, no ride history. New account. That should have been my first red flag, but I figured maybe it was someone whose phone died and they were using a friend's account. Happens more than you'd think. I rolled up to the pin. A narrow street, half swallowed by overgrown weeds and trees. My headlights caught the edge of a chain-link fence and a building with boards over the windows. I was just about to cancel when I saw him. A man stepped out of the shadows, tall, wearing a long coat, hood up. He didn't say a word, just opened the back door and slid in. "You Mark?" I asked. He nodded slowly. "Yeah." His voice was low, scratchy, like someone who hadn't spoken in days. I hit start on the trip, but instead of giving me a location, the GPS glitched. The map flickered, then reloaded with a pin dropped in the middle of what looked like forest. No street name, just a blue line zigzagging through unmarked land. "You sure this is where you're headed?" I asked. He leaned forward slightly, and I caught a whiff of something strange, like rust and wet dirt. "Yeah, that's the place. Don't worry, I'll tell you where to turn." I should have driven away, but I didn't. I started driving. The city disappeared fast. Buildings turned into fields. Roads narrowed into winding blacktop. We passed no other cars. Not one. The man didn't speak again. He just stared out the window like he was watching for something. About 30 minutes in, the GPS took us off the main road and onto a gravel path. It crunched beneath the tires, dust swirling in the high beams. Then the dashboard chimed. Tire pressure low. I frowned and pulled over. The back left tire was hissing, flattening fast. Damn it. Mark was still in the back seat, silent. "You have a spare?" he asked. I nodded and popped the trunk. While I dug around for the jack, I glanced down the road and froze. There was someone standing there, far off, maybe 100 feet away, barely more than a silhouette in the dark, a small figure, just standing still. "Hey!" I shouted. "You okay?" No movement. When I looked back toward the car, Mark was gone. "Mark?" The back door hung open. Then I heard it, the sound of something moving fast through the brush beside the road. Leaves rustling, twigs snapping, and then footsteps, running. I turned just in time to see Mark sprinting off the road, chasing that figure deeper into the trees. "What the hell?" I yelled after him, but he didn't stop. Didn't even look back. I should have left right then. Called the cops, reported a strange passenger vanishing into the woods, but curiosity or maybe stupidity got the better of me. I grabbed my flashlight and followed. The trees closed in fast. The light barely pierced the darkness. The air smelled thick, earthy, like decay. I kept hearing Mark's footsteps up ahead, crashing through the underbrush, and sometimes something else, like breathing, labored, wet. I called out again, "Mark?" No answer. I started to turn back, and then I saw them. 2 sets of footprints in the soft dirt, one larger, one smaller, both fresh. I kept going. It felt like I was walking in circles. The air grew colder. Time dragged. At some point, I realized I'd lost cell signal entirely. Then I stumbled into a clearing and stopped dead. In the middle of the clearing was an old, rusted car. Looked like it had been there for years. The windows were broken, the doors half open. Inside sat Mark. His face was pale, eyes wide like he was in a trance. "Mark?" I said. He didn't move. I stepped closer. That's when I saw the figure again, across the clearing. A child, maybe 9 or 10 years old, standing just behind a tree. She was barefoot. Her dress was torn. Her head tilted slightly as she stared at me. "Are you okay?" I asked. She didn't respond. She just turned and walked away, slow and deliberate. And Mark got up to follow. I moved to grab him. "Hey, wait! You can't!" But as soon as I touched him, he turned to me and I saw his face clearly under the beam of my flashlight. His eyes were gone, just empty sockets. And he smiled. I stumbled back, tripping over a root, and hit the ground hard. When I looked up, he was gone. The girl too. I ran. Branches slapped my face, my lungs burned. I had no idea where I was going, just away from that clearing, away from Mark, away from whatever that thing was pretending to be a little girl. Eventually, the trees began to thin, and I found myself back near the road. My car still sat where I left it, tire completely flat, trunk open. I jumped in and locked the doors, heart racing. That's when I noticed the GPS again. It had rerouted, no longer showing the pin in the woods. Now it was showing my current location with a new destination. No address, just a label. Return. I stared at it, cold sweat running down my back. The screen flickered. A message popped up. Passenger has re-entered the vehicle. I slowly turned my head to the back seat. Empty, but the door was open. Then it slammed shut. I screamed and floored the gas, driving on the rim, sparks flying as I tore down the gravel path. I didn't care if I wrecked the whole damn car. I just needed to get out. I drove until I hit asphalt again, until I saw power lines, until I saw the flicker of a gas station sign in the distance. I pulled in on a flat and jumped out, staggering to the attendant inside. They called the cops. I told them everything. About Mark, the little girl, the woods, the GPS. They looked at me like I was insane. When they ran Mark's profile, the account didn't exist. My trip history, no record of the ride. The GPS route, gone. They chalked it up to stress, maybe some bad weed, maybe a psychotic episode. Told me to take a break from driving. But I know what happened. I saw his eyes. I saw what was chasing that girl and what was waiting for me when I followed. I totaled my car the next day. Bought a bicycle, haven't driven since. And every now and then, when I'm on my phone, a notification pops up, 1 ride request pending. I don't open it anymore because I know who it is, and I know if I accept again, I might not come back.